Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. Thank you so much for joining me. Could. Ladies and gentlemen, be friends. Is it possible for males and females to have a non romantic, non physical, non sexual, platonic relationship? The answer is yes. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. In fact, if you really think about it, what's the question you're asking? Is it possible for two human beings to have a friendship, a platonic relationship with each other? Right? And I know there's a lot of people out there that will disagree with me and say, well, here's the thing. The person you're with is essentially all you need from the opposite sex. That's provided you are a heterosexual couple. Because what happens if you're not? Like, what happens if you're gay or a lesbian? Then what? Are you not allowed to have any more girlfriends or guy friends? See, that is why I revert back to it being a platonic relationship between two human beings where the sexual orientation or the sex of the people doesn't even matter at all. And now I have certain caveats with this, which I will get into. It's not clear cut and simple, at least for me. And the only reason for me is just to make life easier. But I know for some people, they will say they can't because they will, what's the word I'm looking for? They will be enticed, they will be enticed to potentially cheat on their partner because they have a friend. But see, here's the thing. I'm going to give my caveats first. Okay. So when it comes to friends of the opposite sex, my rule, and this is like a hard boundary, right? My rule is that neither party be interested in them romantically or sexually for the friendship to work. And the reason I say that is not because, you might get enticed to cheat because you have a friend of the opposite sex. It's more the opposite, where the one who is interested could possibly sabotage any future relationships you have with somebody else. For example, if I was to be friends with a woman and that woman be interested in me romantically or sexually, and I wasn't in her, then there's no chance of me ever, engaging with her on any of those ways, romantic or sexually. But see, because she's interested in me, she might behind my back threaten any girls that I talk to, badmouth me to anybody that I talk to, badmouth me to anyone or the friends of someone I'm interested in. And I'm saying this because this has actually happened. So I'm talking from experience here, right? And I've seen this happen even the other way around, where a woman was friends with guys. And to be quite honest with you, I think women are less obvious to the fact when a guy likes them. But I've seen it where women had guy friends. I don't know why I did this. It was actual guy friends. But the guy was interested in them, but they weren't interested in the guy. So they just stayed friends. But then the guy essentially talks bad about every single guy that this girl dates. So, she starts to get a bad taste in her mouth, or starts to look at these guys like, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe this guy is going to cheat on me. Maybe this guy isn't right for me. And then essentially sabotaging any relationship in hopes that one day she wakes up and is like, this guy has been protecting me for so long. I think I should just be with him, when that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Okay. This actually happened with my last serious girlfriend. She had a friend, a guy friend, And the thing is, she had like a bunch of guy friends. And for the most part, they were all cool. I loved hanging out with them. You know, they're all great guys. But there was one who she even told me straight out that he always like loved her or wanted her or whatever the case is. And she was never interested in him in that way, but they just stayed friends. And he eventually got married. But the funny thing is, when I met him, he was very like trying to like peacock me, essentially trying to make like everything I would say, he would like one up me. You know, if I said that, oh yeah, you know, I drive a BMW or something, he'd be like, well, you know, I have like the newer BMW, or I drive a Mercedes, or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter what I said. He would always try to one up me and always try to like belittle me in front of her, which for me, it's like, do what you want, you know, do what you want. Because if she's going to believe you, then she's not for me, straight up. You'd be doing me a favor. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But funny enough, every single one of her guy friends, like the ones that I liked, all said that they liked me, that I was a cool guy and whatever the case is. But this one guy said to her, oh, you know what? He seems like a know-it-all. And, you know, sometimes I do come across that way. I'm not even going to deny that. He seems like he's too good for you. He seems like no girl will ever be good enough for him. And it's like, well, that's kind of where I draw the line. If I'm with her, then obviously I believe that she is good enough for me. So there. And she told me every nice thing that he had to say about me. And obviously I just laugh it off because it's like, whatever. If you want to believe him, believe him. If not, I'm here, right? So, and he's married. And I even said to her at the time, I'm like, listen, it just really seems like this guy would divorce his wife for you. And like, you know, you say the word and it's consider it done. Like this guy's going to do it. She didn't believe me, but you know, us guys can sort of see that sort of thing sometimes, depending on the guy, I should say, because some guys are just so jealous that they think that any guy that comes across a woman's life is trying to get with her. And see, like, that's again, the whole point of this. Can men and women be friends? Because so many people have jealousy deep inside of them. And that is why, or insecurities. And that is why they cannot believe that men and women can be friends. Now, see, here's the thing. Aside from my one rule, and again, it's there because I don't want someone sabotaging any sort of future relationships. That's, to me, is not a friend, right? That is somebody who's selfish and greedy and looking after themselves. So obviously I don't even want those people in my life at all, period. So that kind of like coincides with it, right? But the people that have issues, it's really funny because obviously, especially with what I do and the amount of people that I help are, especially that the amount of people that I help are majority women. You know, some of them believe that no, men and women can't be friends. Yet they're telling me this and they're considering me their friend. And then even when I bring it up to them and say, hey, listen, you know, like I'm your friend. Do you think that if you were to date a guy and you told him about me and he had a problem with me, would you cut me off? And they're like, yeah, but no, because you're you. Like, there's nothing between us. I'm like, I know there's nothing between us. But he doesn't know that. He's going to be like, oh, you have a guy friend? And then feel threatened because, you know, guys are sort of territorial. Actually, women are very territorial too. But they're just going to be like, no, you don't need any other guys in your life. You have me. And it's like, yeah, but it's not like that. We're just friends. And then, but guys and girls can't be friends, you know? Any guy that's friends with a girl just wants to sleep with her. That's the sentiment, at least amongst men, not open-minded men, closed-minded men. Because the funny thing is, it has nothing to do with the gender of the person. It has to do with the insecurity or jealousy level within the person. And I've proven this to myself many, 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 many times. And this is how that I did it, okay? Because if you ask somebody who believes that men and women cannot be friends, right? What's the one thing that you can take out of the equation to change their mind? No? I would love to know what answers you come up with. So either comment on this, comment below, or go to joeyfrancis.com. That's JoeyFrances.com And you can scroll there and send me a message and comment on what's the one thing that you can take away from a potential male and female friendship that would allow other people or allow significant others to be okay with it. Because the answer is sex. If you make the other person believe that there is no chance of any sort of sexual relationship, all of a sudden, they will be 100% comfortable with your male-female friendship. And that works with both sides, women and men, because that's where the insecurity lies. It's, are they going to find someone better than me? Are they going to find someone better looking than me? Are they going to find someone to cheat on me with? That's always the questions that goes on here. That's always the problem. Because here's the thing. If a man and a woman couple, okay, they're having this discussion, okay, the woman has a guy friend, a very, very good guy friend, like a best friend. And the man is like, well, you know, you don't need any guy friends. You have me. I'm the only guy friend you need, etc., 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 etc. And then she goes, yeah, but he's gay. He's been friends with me forever. Like, he's gay. You know, like he has boyfriends and stuff. Now the guy's going to be like, oh, okay, in that case, that's fine. You can be friends with him. See, boom, take sex out of the equation. And now all of a sudden, men and women can be friends, right? Vice versa. The guy friend has a female friend. And the woman says, you don't need any female friends. You don't need any female friends. I'm all the female you need. And then he says to her, yeah, but you know, like her and I have been friends for so long. We've been friends since childhood, blah, 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 blah. And she's still going to be like, no, but you don't need any more female friends. I'm all the female friends you need. But then he shows her a picture of the two of them. And she sees this woman and she realizes that this woman is not very attractive, maybe overweight, maybe has zero sense of style. And all of a sudden, she feels fine about it. She's like, you know what? You guys have been friends for a very long time. It's fine. I'm okay with it. Because you're taking out the idea of sex. You take out the idea of sex and all of a sudden, everything becomes okay. Once someone has that reassurance that I'm not going to get cheated on, or at least by this person, I'm okay. Now, I understand this is an insecurity that people have. I get it. To me, it's senseless. It doesn't even make sense in my brain. Because here's the thing. The majority of time, a man and a woman, if they were to be friends, they're going to be friends longer than a man and a woman finding a partner, right? So they're going to, you know, they have more seniority, so to speak. Now, don't get me wrong. I do know people, both men and women, that once they get into a relationship or once they start talking to somebody whom they're very interested in, it's like everybody around them disappears. And I mean, even in some cases, like I know a guy that once he would start dating a girl, even his guy friends disappear. Like he makes her his world, which I think is so incredibly wrong, but that's his bullshit that he needs to deal with. But nonetheless, you know, I know people that are like that. To me, I think closing off the rest of the world, losing your friends over someone is nonsensical. I mean, like I said, they have more seniority. They've been around longer than whoever you're dating. And for whoever you're dating to come along and say, hey, I know you've been friends with these people for X amount of years. I don't approve. It's done. It's done. It's over. It's finished. And it's like, okay, so now you're making me choose. The people that I've known for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, or you that I've known for like 2 minutes. Now, listen, if you're a real friend and these people are actually meaningful to you in your life, you're not going to cut them off over someone you've known for 2 minutes. This is, again, like even harking back to knowing what you want and, you know, knowing what you don't want and things of that nature, because obviously you don't want someone to come into your life and say, hey, that's it. No more friends for you. You know, you're all mine. That's not how that's not how this goes. We're supposed to be like creating larger circles, not making smaller ones, right? So if somebody is that insecure, then, you know, there's an issue. And like, here's the real funny part about it, right? You've known somebody for 20 years. And this person comes along and says, hey, you know, I'm insecure about this, or I'm jealous of this. Obviously, they're not going to say that like that. They're going to say it in other ways, like, you don't need it. You don't need them. You don't need them anymore. I've known you for 2 minutes. I've known them for 20 years. Let's take away the whole seniority thing. But don't you think that in 20 years of me being friends with these people, that if I wanted to sleep with them, I would have done it already? If I wanted to try dating them, I would have done it already. Like, we're talking like a long period of time. We're not talking about like I've known them for a year and I've known you for a month. You know, we're talking like friends from a long time. And even if it was that I've known them for a year and you a month, don't you think in that year I would have tried something? I would have dated them? Did you think that I waited to start a relationship with you so that I can purposely cheat on you with them? Does that make any sense to you whatsoever? And I know, logically speaking, I know that I'm right. That's not the way people think. They think like, oh, you know, you have the temptation of a person of the opposite sex around you. It makes you want to sleep with them. And I think like that is like such like barbarian and archaic mindset. Like, just because you're standing around someone who's of the opposite sex means that, you know, over a period of time, my dick's going to get hard in that way and I'm going to want to sleep with them. That's nonsense. What about people that work in offices with both men and women? Does that mean that every man and woman that work near each other are going to bang one day just because they work close with each other? That nobody has any like self-restraint? That it doesn't matter who they're dating or married to or whatever the case is, but because I'm in close proximity of a woman, just something inside me says I need to sleep with her. Or vice versa, because, you know, obviously it's not a one-way street here. Women have to obviously want to do it too. So because a woman works in a place where there's guys, that she's going to want to bang all the guys in the place that she works? Exactly. When you say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds so stupid, right? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, if somebody wants to cheat on you, it doesn't matter if they have friends of the opposite sex. It doesn't matter if they have friends of the same sex who are gay or lesbian. It doesn't matter if you are so overprotective of them. You're literally hovering over them. You cannot watch them 24 hours a day, which means they can cheat on you if they really want to. And if that's the feeling you have inside yourself, it's literally one of two things. Either number one, you have massive trust issues and you shouldn't be dating anybody. If you were literally that overprotective over someone and you think that they're going to always cheat on you, you shouldn't be with anybody. You need to be in therapy. You don't even need to be like talking to me. You need therapy. Because you have some massive insecurity issues and jealousy issues and trust issues that your life will always be like walking on pins and needles, and you're going to have like hypertension and stress issues, and you're just going to make yourself sick. Like, you need to like loosen up, let go to therapy and look inwards to try to fix your shit. I don't even remember the other thing I was going to say. Okay, yeah, I don't remember the other thing I was going to say about cheating. But that's it. That's it. Like, they're not, you know what I mean? They're like, not everybody's going to cheat on you. Even if you have a past of people cheating on you, not everybody's going to cheat on you. Okay? So if you literally have this issue that You cannot have your partner around people of the opposite sex. That's a you issue. That's something that you need to fix inside. Because here's the thing. If that person is around people of the opposite sex and they're like flirting and hitting on them and this and that and the other, like right in front of you, then what the fuck are you doing with them? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Or maybe I did. Maybe I did. Nonetheless, what are you doing with them? See, like this, again, goes back to my rules. Know what you're ready for. Know what you want. Know what you don't want. And know how you want to be treated and how you want someone to make you feel. If you are dating someone and they make you feel uneasy because of the way they have relationships with the opposite sex, well, then it's a different story, right? Then it's a completely different story. But you also have to be logical about this. Because is it really them? Or is it really them? Or is it like the way that you see the relationship and it's within yourself, right? Because when people are polite, a lot of people get the wrong idea, like mainly guys. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. It's mainly guys. When a woman tries to be nice to a guy, the guy right away is like, oh, she likes me. And all she might be doing is being friendly and polite. And then it stops women from being friendly and polite because guys think that, oh, every woman that's polite and nice to me just wants me. When it's really not the case. So you have to assess the situation. Is the person that you're with friendly and polite? Or are they actively like trying to flirt with somebody? And I mean, there might be a fine line. But again, if it's bothering you, you have two options. You can sit them down and say, hey, we should have a chat about this. Like when you're talking to these people, are you being friendly and polite or are you flirting with them? And, you know, they might not be honest with you, but I hope that you're with them long enough to know the difference between when they're telling the truth and when they lie, or just at least have some idea of when they lie and when they're telling the truth. Or you can just walk away and be like, listen, I can't be with someone like you because you stress me out and, you know, I'm too insecure and blah, 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 blah. And I shouldn't be here because stress kills. Stress really does kill, right? I think stress is literally like the number one cause of like murdering people. I know I'm probably wrong and I just made that up, but that's beside the point because it still sounds true. So why would you do anything in your life to cause more stress? Example, dating people. If you're the person that has trust issues or has massive insecurities and anytime you're with someone, you think that they're going to cheat on you or find someone better. Because if that's the case, like I said, therapy is waiting for you. Therapy is waiting for, and I appreciate you listening to me, but therapy is waiting for you. And you need to get over it. You need to get over it. You have to understand that if someone chooses to be with you, they're choosing to be with you. And if you let that go, then you can have no stress or less stress and be in a relationship at the same time, which honestly, it's a wonderful thing. Having someone to share shit with is a wonderful thing, as opposed to having someone that I need to watch over and nag and be overprotective of and make sure that they dress a certain way and make sure they act a certain way. That sounds like more work than like a hard job. I'm sure like people would rather like go work an oil rig than have to deal with that shit. So why would you choose to deal with that shit? Don't do it. I digress. I hope that I've explained how men and women can be friends and why men and women should be friends. Everybody should be friends. It doesn't matter what gender you are, what sex orientation you are. If someone is cool and interested in the same shit as you, it doesn't mean you need to bang them. You could just enjoy a platonic relationship, sharing similar ideas and hobbies and interests, because that's fun. Anyways, I think I'm going to cut it there. Just to recap and really think about this. Really think about this, that if you take sex away from a friendship, you would probably be okay with it. Think about that. Think about that with your own relationship. Think about that with other people's relationships that you might have pointed fingers at, because that happened a lot with me and my ex, my last serious girlfriend, because she had guy friends and she would go out with them. And I wouldn't care, because why should I care? She was friends with them longer than she's known me. If she was going to bang them, she would have done it already. If she was going to date them, she would have done it already. So why would I care? I don't care. She's going out and having a good time with her friends while I'm doing whatever. I couldn't make it, or I couldn't make time for her that day or at that time. And she wanted to go out with her friends. Go, have fun. See, the funny thing is that she would always invite me. And like I said, like sometimes I was busy and I couldn't make it. And other people, oh, your girlfriend's going out with other guys. Yeah, I do. And you're okay with that? Yeah, I am. Because on top of it, I've met them and I like them. So there was that too. And like I said, if she was going to cheat on me, she would have done it regardless. Not necessarily with them, with anybody. So what difference does it make? You either trust someone or you don't. I was going to say something I completely forgot. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. So, this is what I was going to say. If you are someone with friends of the opposite sex, right? And your partner or the person you're dating has an issue with it, okay? Here's a way to sort of possibly mitigate it. This could backfire. You introduce everyone to everyone. That is one way to sort of, hey, listen, these are my friends, right? Hey, friends, this is the person I'm dating and getting serious with. And I only recommend doing it if you're getting serious with them, not, it's like the same thing of introducing people to your family, right? It doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen too early, because then your family, is like, but I really liked her. Or the opposite. And they're like, oh my God, she was such a witch. And then you get back together with her and they're like, oops, this is awkward. Anyways. Yeah. Is there anything else I want to say? Maybe I feel this way because I grew up with two sisters. I don't know. I just felt like saying that. I am the middle child of three. So maybe I feel like it's different because of the way I grew up. And I love them and I thank them for making me this way. Because again, friendship shouldn't matter. Gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, nationality, religion, none of it. None of it should matter. If you want to be friends with someone, be friends with them, because obviously you have something in common and something that you cherish and share together. Okay? Okay. I think that's where we're going to cut it off. I hope you got the point. And if you wish to rebuttal me, I hope that you wish to rebuttal me. Please rebuttal me. Please, listen to the whole podcast, rebuttal me, because I know there's a lot of people that listen to my shorts or watch my shorts, and then they rebuttal me, and it's like, but I already addressed that in the podcast. You just didn't listen to the rest of the podcast. But I get it, because that's what shorts do. But if you wish to rebuttal me on this, please do. You know where you can go. JoeyFrancis.com. That's JoeyFrances.com. And there you can send me a message and rebuttal me. Tell me why I'm wrong. I will love to know why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. You can also comment on this video. Share, like, subscribe, all those sort of things. I hate saying that. I know so many people say that shit. Does it actually work? Because I know I only have, I think at the time of recording, it was 29 subscribers, but more than 29 people see my shit. So, but it's YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's YouTube. You know how YouTube works, Anyways, I thank you for your attention. If you made it this far, thank you so very, 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 very much. I honestly really, really appreciate you. And I hope you go out into the world and do what's right for you. Until next time.